international experts to aid or to give advice when it comes to drafting this plan. Would you like to comment?
All right, I think as Guyanese we need to be proud of our own.
Hmm.
We have capable person within the country, persons who are trained in disaster management, who have experience in plan development, and those are the people that we're utilizing to develop our plans. And what we need to understand too, the, developing a plan, what is the most important part is the process. Having someone from, say, the United States or England come and give you a plan, you miss the most important part in the process. And as the local players go through the process, they would understand and have buy-in on that plan. They would know their roles and responsibilities better than if someone just give you a plan, take documents for you to read it. So one is we taking this approach is to have our local players get a better understanding of roles and responsibility. And secondly, we have experts who would have developed plans before and able to develop our experience response plan. Apart from that, in terms of the entire process, we would have consulted and spoke to teams from the U.S. Coast Guard. And one of key requirement um, as part of the International Maritime Organization audit is an oil spill response plan. And in February of this year, they have reviewed the first draft of our oil spill plan that our local prepared, and they said it was commendable. And we are still working on,
That's
and
just
we're
the
still
first draft.
working on that. And the training that we have done over the year expose our players, expose our partners to more ideas, give us more knowledge and experience in for developing the plan. So we just completed 2 weeks of intense training in oil spill response management and in incident command system. And then with the training, the players that are who receive the training would now meet again and further develop the plan. After that is done, we're gonna have some consultation, public consultation, so people can, be part of the whole process.
All of this is before the plan is
Of
finalized.
course, and then we're gonna test the plan. We're gonna have tabletop exercises. We're gonna have some functional exercises. We might have some exercise where we're gonna actually deploy resources, and that's a test and see, where you have to adjust, and then it will be adjusted again. And every year, the plan will be, it's a living document.
Oh, so
Wouldn't,
it's
it
not.
would,
It wouldn't just be
no,
stagnant.
it
Stay.
wouldn't be
You
standard.
have
It's a
to.
living. Every year it will
Listen.
be updated. But key to the planning is the resources. And what people are not aware is that we have so far sourced like about 5 containers of resources. And we have them at our warehouse based in Tamari. And during the training last week, we actually use those resources, deploy them, person gets to use the resources. And the next stage is to, based on what is required, is to acquire additional resources. And those players with specific response roles will we will we will distribute those resources to those agencies. So, for example, the Coast Guard has a major role to play on offshore oil spill response, so they'll be given a set of resources. The Maritime Administration, the GEA, the EPA. So there are things happening, and apart from that, from 2016 to now, we have over 100 something persons trained in oil spill response, and they have
Oh, so
trained.
you started as soon as there was the announcement that you
Yes,
were.
so 26 people are trained. So you have people who are trained, they're equipped, they have the PPE, personal protective equipment, so they have helmets, safety goggles, boots, jackets, that we could call them for them to respond. What we're doing now is to try to have them, put them in teams, and have them be part of our plan development, have them be part of our exercises, so they know that they have roles that they can they can carry it out and function that they can carry it out. And I'm hearing people are also talking about why do we go and do the training at splash winds and not outside in the sea? As I mentioned before, our risk is the higher risk is in the rivers and then on the land. And secondly, you just can't have new people that you train and put them in an environment
Mental.
that is not safe. In this type of training, safety is first.
Yeah.
So once people go there and in a more comfortable environment
Like
and the
it's a
skills
stage.
increase, we take them in the Demerara River to the mouth of the river, then we take them further. Eventually, they're going to become
They'll get
expert.
comfortable.
And one other thing before we
Go
go,
ahead.
um, we are also working with our partners to have local instructors. I believe in building local capacity. So we'll have local instructors. So out of the set of person that we've trained, we look for like about 10 of the best and train them to a level and have experts monitor them so that they would conduct training with all the stakeholders. And if we have to train at a different regional level, we have them train at it.
All right. We just have about 2 minutes left or so. You did speak extensively about ExxonMobil and other oil companies and the measures that they put in place in the event that, and again, people, I really like that you reminded us that in the event that there's an oil spill, it's highly unlikely that it will get to shore. But last year and even the year before that, we heard about oil companies, I think one or two of them, in the business of cleanup efforts after there's an oil spill. And I really wanted to ask you about that. Is it a case where, again, in the event that there is one, these oil companies in that business, would they have to seek guidance or depend on the CDC for guidance? Is it a case where you'll be working along with them as you would be working with so many other agencies?
As a matter of fact, we work with them all the time. They were part of all our training.
Oh, okay.
And they have their windows of opportunity for them to be deployed, because some of the assets, like for example the vessels, we may not have all the vessels, and going through the whole large scale response to, there's something called vessel of opportunities, and that's when these large companies would utilize those vessels with those type of capabilities. So they're part of our process. We, as a matter of fact, even though they're a private sector company, we get them on board for the training so they could understand our system. So I think there's Geico Construction Limited. They got a particular oil spill response unit. I think there's another company. And a matter of fact, I think a couple months ago, one of the companies utilized for a minor oil spill, I think, at the back of Guyana and Demerara River. So this company would do localized oil spill response, and we would work along with them and help with the coordination, etc. So yes, there are opportunities for these companies, and now I think we recognize that we have a local risk that is higher than we probably understand. We'll have to have these type of facilities available.
Okay, all right. Thank you so very much. We're going to have to leave it there for now, viewers. The time flew by today, as usual. Of course, those of you now joining, I'm sorry you missed a great one, but as usual, the conversation can be had during next week on YouTube and other social media. This would have been a conversation with the Acting Director General at the CDC, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig. I am Malika Ramsey. Thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy what's left of your arrival day, and of course, join me again next time. This has been Conversations in State.